Hi everyone, welcome back to Katie Cooked What and my 12 Days of Christmas series. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this baked cheesy spinach dip with homemade tortilla chips. It is so good. I guarantee you it's going to be a real crowd pleaser at any party, holiday event, whatever. It's so good. Okay, so starting off with the artichoke hearts, I am using this entire jar. You can use a can too, but this is all that the store had, and I did drain them out of the oil. I didn't use any of that, but yeah, I'm just cutting them up relatively fine, and then I'll just add that to a large mixing bowl. Moving on to the spinach now, I'm just cutting this up relatively roughly, and you can use however much you want. I would say I probably used about 2 to 3 cups once it was all chopped, but yeah, you can use more or less. It's up to your preference, of course. You can definitely use frozen too if that's all that you have, or if that's just what you want to use. I just have an insane amount of fresh spinach right now, so that's what I'm going for. Next, I'm cutting up 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm just gonna keep on chopping these until they get nice and fine. After everything is chopped and in the bowl, I'm adding around a cup of sour cream, and then I'm also going to add a cup of cream cheese. I highly recommend leaving out your cream cheese while you're cutting up all your other vegetables, just so that it is softened and a lot easier to mix. And then once everything is thoroughly mixed, I'm just gonna go ahead and add my spices. So I'm doing garlic powder, salt, Italian seasoning, and onion powder. Honestly, I don't really measure these, I just kind of go for it. So again, I would just measure it to taste. Start small and add additional spices as you go if you're worried about it. And then just mixing that all together. So we are almost done with the spinach dip here. I just need to add in the cheese. So I'm grating mozza right now, and about a cup is what I usually shoot for. I put half of it in the spinach dip mixture itself and then reserve half a cup to sprinkle over top. You can add more cheese if you want, but I find that this is a pretty appropriate amount, so I would recommend stick to around a cup. Then I'm doing the same thing with Parmesan, putting half a cup in the mixture and half a cup on top. Just spreading in the spinach dip to a glass baking dish here. I have my oven preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to bake it for 20 minutes or until the cheese on top starts to turn a golden brown color, and I am also going to sprinkle on the remaining cup of cheese before I throw that in the oven. Alright, so while the spinach dip is baking, I'm going to go ahead and move along with my tortilla chips. So all that I do is take a plain tortilla and I'm just going to cut it up into, I'm trying to cut them into triangles, but they're definitely not all triangles, so just cut them up however you see fit. You can also do like cookie cutters if you wanted to, which I think is kind of fun if you wanted to do Christmas trees for Christmas time or whatever like that, but I don't have any cookie cutters, so I'm just doing my somewhat triangle shapes today. So once that you have your shapes cut out of your tortillas, you can just spread them out on a baking sheet with parchment paper on them. I'm going to take some olive oil and just brush a little bit over top of each of them. You don't need very much, so don't go crazy with this. You really just need a very small amount brushed over top, and don't worry about the other side because halfway through cooking you're going to take them out and do the same thing. And I'm also sprinkling some salt and garlic powder over these. Again, that's totally optional, but I think it's really, really good. So here's our spinach dip fresh out of the oven. This was for 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and put my tortilla chips in. This is actually them halfway through. I left the oven at 400, put them in for about 3 minutes, took them out, flipped them all over, did the exact same thing to the other side with the olive oil, the salt, and the garlic powder, and then I put them back in for another 3 to 4 minutes while my spinach dip cooled down a little bit. And now it's time to plate our spinach dip. You can definitely just eat it straight out of the dish. Honestly, that's what I do most of the time, but you know, video's sake, you gotta make it look fancy. So I just have this little white dish here, and I'm just spooning some in. I tried to kind of cut around the cheese, not crust, but the top of it, and was able to kind of keep it intact. So I scooped on one, and then I filled it with sort of the middle part of the dip, and then my final scoop had some of the cheese on top, so it still looked quite nice and kind of fresh out of the oven. But yeah, that's just what I did. Okay, and then to finish it off, I just put my spinach dip in the middle of a plate here, and I'm just fanning the tortilla chips around it. You can also do this with bread or just bagged tortilla chips, vegetables, crackers, really whatever you want. It's a super versatile dip, and I think it's good with like basically anything. So whatever you think will be good, I'm sure everyone will love it. And that is it. So as you can see, I added some veggies along with my tortilla chips. Also, this was a total of 2 tortilla wraps, and it was plenty for the 2 of us, so just for some kind of reference for you. But yeah, that is all that I have for you guys today, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if you make this at home. I think it is so good, and I feel like it turned out really well, and it looks really good with all the colors from the vegetables. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.